In order, stand and say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We've got one item that we need to add to our action item. Can I get a motion to add action item F, a new trust and agency account for Pro Start? That would be with Hannah Zemer, our fax teacher.
So moved.
Thank you, Aaron. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Conflicts disclosure? None. Public communications. I've got one from the Reporter and Farmer, and I'll just go ahead and read that off. Dear members of the Webster Area School Board, per South Dakota law, the Reporter and Farmer is making a formal annual request to be notified of regular and special board meetings, either by email, phone call, or mail, within a time frame ahead of the meetings, which would give adequate time to make plans to attend said meeting. The business manager and board members have always done a great job of this in the past, and we thank you for that cooperation. Please also find included with this letter copies of the 2023 revised publication, Conducting the Public's Business in Public, a guide to South Dakota's open meeting laws by the South Dakota Attorney General's Office in partnership with the South Dakota News Media Association. The Reporter and Farmer has printed a copy of this booklet for each board member and finance officer as a courtesy. We would encourage you to read through this booklet and bring yourself up to date on the latest open meeting laws. Once again, we thank you for your cooperation and help in ensuring the public is an informed citizenry. Sincerely, Amanda M. Dulitz, publisher, Reporter and Farmer. And I do have the guides that she has provided that I will pass out to all of the board members. I just had a nice conversation with Amanda, and I think, for the last decade, we have really tried hard here at the school to do as much of our meetings in the light. I don't think there's ever been a problem with notice. We always make sure we plan our meetings around giving the Reporter and Farmer notice so that they can be here. We're also a big fan of Bearcat TV. Obviously, that helps even more with our open meetings, with getting information out there, archived on the internet. I think it is a good thing that we do as much as we can in open meetings and keep executive session to as minimum amount as need be. So thanks, Amanda. We'll make sure that we hand these out.
And again, I want to reiterate, I've never had a problem that I can recall with the Webster School Board, and so we do appreciate your cooperation. These guides just became available, and so I wanted to just provide them because there's a few things that even I looked at and I thought, oh, that surprised me. So thank you guys for always being open.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Public communications?
I got a little something.
All right, Joel.
I want to get some numbers out in the public. As tax season just came around, we're getting hit up a little bit. So I just did a little history lesson over the weekend, and I went back to my first year on the board. So that was for the 14-15 school year. And I just got a couple numbers I want to share with everybody. So that year, it cost the Webster School District $9,694.64 per student to educate them. Our state aid that year was $2,109.28. The cost to educate a student last year was $13,686.08. So that went up a considerable amount. But the state aid that we received per student was $2,461.69. So my point to bringing these numbers up today is the state aid only went up roughly $300 per student over the last 9 years that I've been on the board, and the cost to educate the students has went up almost $4,000. So why am I bringing this up? If you'll remember when Governor Noem took office, she took over the Blue Ribbon Task Force that was set up by Dennis Dugard. And she came out and said, it's not my job as governor to set teacher salary. That's up to local school districts. Well, oh, how the tides have turned this year during her State of the State address. She said local school districts haven't done their job in setting teacher salary, so I'm gonna get involved. And that really got under my skin because, I mean, we have done, the majority of the increase in cost has went to teacher salary, and it should, and I'm good with it. We're doing a good job, and we need to keep doing everything we can to keep raising that, but we're not getting funded from the state government. And so when the farmers open up their tax bills, they think that they're paying that big share, and they're paying a fair share, but our mill levy has went down. Our mills are going down. Their valuations are going up, and that's where they're seeing their increase in taxes. But, you know, it's kind of a catch-22 here. The cost to educate these kids is going up, but Peer is not funding it. And I think we really need to be driving that message home to the people in the district.
You think about $300, that's the increase, you know, $300, $400. That's got to pay for not only our teachers, but the light bill, the natural gas bill, the busing bill, the janitorial bill, the clearing of the snow, the sidewalks, every single thing we do. We're not getting a lot of funding from the state. It is local based, and yes, our assessed values are going up, but our levies, we've been doing very strong with dropping them. I mean, we're going to be in a good position here again. We're not like other districts that are talking about opt-outs. We're not even close to that stage, and we just got done doing that CTE wing, and we're going to talk about it later on, but we're under budget. I mean, we're doing well.
So I just want to start getting some of these numbers out in the general public, and anybody wants to know where they're at, we're on the state website, and I just printed these off. Just one other quick thing, because I mean we could talk about this all night, and I know we got to keep moving. I looked at Britton, Langford, Sisseton, Webster, Groton, Waubee. We're the cheapest. No, there was one cheaper than us in educating students. It was Britton. Otherwise, we're way ahead. We're way, the cost per student, we're the least. So we're doing a good job.
When you talk about the tax, the average taxpayer thinks we set the tax. We do not. We control the capital outlay. For instance, we don't set the general fund.
Correct.
State
The
does.
state does that. All the money goes into a pool and the state divvies it out.
Correct.
Some districts get none, others get more. It's all based on local effort.
And to
Correct.
Larry's point, I just want to clarify that too. You're exactly right.
And everybody's wallets are fatter now than
Yep.
they were 10 years ago.
But what Peer has done is they've opened up the capital outlay to fund general fund.
That's correct.
People need to understand that. That's where we're making up the differences in the capital outlay fund, which we do control.
And there is a bill in there on the teacher, what it's gonna be, the average salary, what you have to meet. And you lose 5 to 90%, whatever that's coming up, but they've been dabbling in all these bills that I've been looking through as far as setting salary. The one got killed on the minimum, but the other's still there.
Okay, any other comments? Thanks, Joel.
I just thought I'd throw that out there tonight.
Thanks, Larry. All right, moving on. Motion to approve the minutes of our January 15th meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Marty. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Aaron. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the financial statements as presented.
So,
Thank you, Larry. Second, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Worried about you, Larry, there. Motion to approve the claims as presented.
so moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion?
I just had one comment, that 2 trees, is that a new,
It's Connecting Point, but they joined with another
it's a
company.
new name or whatever?
Yes, just a new name.
Okay, I hadn't seen that before.
Good catch.
Kind of a cute name.
I guess we should just say it for the record that we do have a payment in there to JDH, but that's not the final payment. We're still awaiting some punch list items.
Correct.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve volunteer coaches, and I can do this all in one
Yes.
motion. Kevin Duenwald, Jordan Bauer, Jet Prinz, Aaron Keller, and Brian Schuring, and would these all be for track?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Aaron. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the resignation of Amy Knudsen as assistant volleyball coach.
So moved.
Thank you, Marty. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Aaron. Discussion. I have a letter here from Amy. This letter is to notify you that I wish to tender my letter of resignation as assistant volleyball coach effective at the end of this contract season. I have thoroughly enjoyed my years of service in this capacity. Spending time and working with the fine athletes of this school has been rewarding to me. I will miss the girls, but I feel it is my time to move on from this position. Thank you for this opportunity. Respectfully, Amy Knudsen. Any further discussion?
I'd like to thank Amy for her time. You know, I think we've got a couple of them in the packet tonight, and do we need to do it contingent upon finding replacements?
I think it would be contingent on all of these positions, and obviously it goes without saying, I mean, Amy might be about my age, probably younger, at least for TV's perspective, and so yes, thank you for everything she's done. I mean, she's been with the volleyball program for, you know how many years, Nathan or Jim? I mean, it's a long time. So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the resignation of Lindsay Sickmiller as assistant volleyball coach.
So moved.
Thank you, Aaron. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Joel. I have a letter here from Lindsay. I hope this email finds you well. After 8 fulfilling years helping with the high school volleyball team, I have decided to resign as assistant coach. It's been an incredible journey, and I believe there are exciting things ahead for the team. I'm grateful for the memories and experiences shared over the years, and I really want to thank you for the support. Thank you again for the opportunity to be a part of this community. I wish the team nothing but the best in the future. Respectfully, Lindsay Sickmiller.
Same thing. Thank you, Lindsay, for her time. She's been, I think, a huge asset to the volleyball program.
I agree. There's a lot of girls down there, and that's a tough job. And I mean, she's done a great job. And we've had a hard time finding volleyball coaches in years past. And I think that Lindsay's always been a backup plan that has stepped up to the plate when necessary to help us out. So thank you, Lindsay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the resignation of Felicia Meester, junior high volleyball coach.
So moved.
Thank you, Marty. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Joel. I got a letter here. Please accept this letter of resignation from my position as junior high volleyball coach. It has been a great pleasure working with the girls and watching them grow the last 2 years. However, with my increasing family obligations, I will not be able to commit the time next year to coaching. I look forward to the possibility of doing it again sometime in the future. Thank you, Mrs. Meester. It goes without saying, every time I'm down at one of those volleyball games, those junior high girls get excited. You know, they're jumping up and down and yelling and screaming, and clearly you see Mrs. Meester over there doing a good job of working with those girls, and they're having fun. And that's the number one thing these kids need to do, is to be able to enjoy playing the sport. And so thank you for everything you've done, Mrs. Meester. Any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve supplemental budget 2-3-24 as presented within your board packet.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion? Basically, as it's spelled out, it's just moving the money back and forth with things we've already decided to do. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
We should just mention, Tom, how many dollars in grant money was that?
That is, we do try to do that. I don't have it right here in front of me.
$23,985.
Yep. You know, we really should start just keeping track on an annual basis how much we receive in grants at the school. I'm sure, Lori, you're looking at me like, no, really, Tom, that's not something extra I'd like to do. But if you wouldn't mind, and I'm not talking from your traditional, you know, resources, but some of our outside resources, I think we could come up with something, because there is that misconception out there that we do not take advantage of grants. And
Right.
we absolutely do. I mean, 23,000 is a significant amount. It's 2 students.
Yep.
Okay. Motion to declare surplus property, and do I get to do that all in
Yes.
one fell swoop? We're gonna declare surplus property, the 1998 Ford pickup truck purchased in 2003, and the dust collection system from the old industrial arts room.
Move.
Thanks, Aaron. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Discussion?
The pickup died, and it will cost $8,500 to repair, and the pickup is not worth that. And so we will declare that surplus at little to no value and try to sell it off for. And then the dust collection system, that has not been used in many, many years. It's not the system we have presently in the new CTE. It's from, I think the last time we used it was Dennis Inc. maybe, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, just to, and I think we need to make sure that everybody knows that the new dust collection system that we bought that was down at the old building is being reused in the new building. This is the one, Mr. Stewart's room.
Yes.
where we used to put whatever we could to see what that thing could suck up and hear that go through the vents, chunk, 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 and Mr.
Hey, if we
Stewart.
want somebody to buy that thing, we don't want them to know that.
Those are the good old days. What is that? Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve letter of intent to negotiate.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Discussion. I have got the letter here. Takes me a second, sorry, to pull up. February 7th, 2024, Webster Area School Board. With this letter, please consider our formal request to begin the negotiations process for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. The Webster area staff asks you to select dates for actively negotiating, with our preference being on or after April 2nd, 2024. This allows the legislative session to conclude while providing both negotiating parties time to prepare. Please contact us at your convenience with the date. Thank you, Webster area staff. Gentlemen, if we pull up our calendars, we need to find 2 dates. One for the board to meet so we can make preparations and get some ideas together of what we're looking at. And then the negotiations with the staff. April 2nd, I believe, is Tuesday. This year we have our board meeting on the 8th. Anybody, I'm out the week of the 15th through the 22nd, just for conversation starting. Does anybody else have time where they're gone in April?
No, I'm good.
Larry?
Not right now.
Okay. Aaron, are you around pretty much?
Could we meet before the board meeting?
That's what I was gonna throw out. No?
I got a trial on the 8th. And it'll go.
Bleed them out.
It's civil, and so they want to pay money, so they don't like just saying, I'll pay. I could do it on the 8th. And I think we want to,
Well, should we meet like
In March.
the last week in March maybe?
well, would we know for sure where the legislature's at? I don't think we should have the board meet for our own group until for sure.
When's the last day?
Is it? I'm not sure when the last day of the legislative session is. Anybody know?
I thought it was before that.
Is it like March 31st?
I looked it up recently, but I don't remember.
What do
I think it is March.
Because they said we're halfway through, so I thought we got done earlier than that last
Do you know what
week.
it is, Amanda?
I'll look
The
it up.
blank, sorry.
Let me Google it.
I can tell you that on last year, we met on the 17th, the following Monday, following our school board.
They are supposed to adjourn on March 25th, and then they usually come back for
Yeah.
one other day.
Is it that same week?
March 25th is a
Monday.
Monday.
That's when we negotiated, the 17th.
What if we met on, I'm just throwing out there, Tuesday, April 2nd, just the board? Is that a bad day, or Monday, April 1st Mondays work better for the board?
Easter Monday.
Oh, Monday, Easter Monday
I'll
out?
be available.
Are you good with that?
Yeah.
I'm good.
I might be, I don't know.
And we want to make sure maybe we go to the 2nd?
Second would work for me, but is that okay for
Yeah, I don't know, but I'd have to see.
Because Mondays are really the only days that work for you, right, Aaron?
you? I think I can make the first work.
Unless you went earlier in the day.
You think you make the 1st?
Yeah, I'll make it.
Okay, Larry, you good on the 1st?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we go,
You good, Lori? On the first?
okay, 1st for the board, the 8th is our school board meeting. I'm out the 15th and the 22nd, if we do it Monday nights. Sorry about that, Aaron. Is there a night that traditionally is better for you?
Well, Tuesday would be the next best night.
Could we do the 9th?
Yeah, I mean, I could try.
Is there anything on the school calendar for the 9th? Craig, can you check?
Let me look here. I don't have anything, and Nathan and I talked about some potential dates for the open house, which you guys just kind of, I was looking at April 8th, April 9th. The 11th is not an option because, I don't think it's an option because we have building track, which would go later in the evening, so I don't know if that would be a good time to do that. It's possible.
Well, should we try April 9th, see if that's all right with the staff? And we'll say we'll kick them off at 6. All right?
Yeah.
All right, April 9th, we'll shoot for 6 o'clock that night. And April 1st for just the board, and we can do that at 6. Is that what everybody's thinking again?
Tell them both.
All right, 6 it is. All right. Final action item, motion to approve a trust and agency account for ProStart. That would be with the fax program with Hannah Zemer.
So,
Thank you, Marty. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Aaron, discussion. Is this something with cooking? Is that what it is, Lori? ProStart with the fax program? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, moving on to our superintendent report, Dr. Block.
First and foremost, school board recognition is this week, and as always, we appreciate what you folks are willing to do. I would say that it's pretty much volunteer because there's obviously not a lot of pay involved. So I appreciate what you guys are willing to do. Appreciate the support that you provide to our staff, our students, and our community with what you do. So thank you very much. I think, Lori, do you have a certificate or anything?
Yes, I handed them
They
out.
have it in their packets. So again, I know it's only one time per year that we say this officially and formally. Thank you, but we appreciate what you guys do. I know that you take a lot of phone calls, you try to represent a lot of folks within the community and in the district, and it's not an easy job, so thank you for everything that you do.
And I brought some fine German chocolate to share at the end of the day.
Hurry up, Jim.
We were just briefly talking about grants. I believe we're gonna look at some of the collaborative equipment grants. I'm not sure what we can qualify for, what we have for a need. They are a matching grant this year, as they were last year. And so I don't think it's as simple as saying this, where we apply for the grant, and if there's a piece of equipment we want, the district pays half and the grant pays half, but I think that's the concept. So we'll be looking into that a little bit more. The grant applications, I believe, are due April 24th, so we have a little bit of time yet. The workforce grant is due in March. I don't have anything significant that I believe we can apply for or qualify for, so I don't believe we're going to do the workforce grant. Those are typically for new programs anyway, which at this point we're not looking at starting any new programs. And then Homeland Security, that does run through Dade County Homeland funds. And so when we apply for Homeland Security grants, in essence, we're asking for a portion of the amount of money that comes to Dade County. We did get a grant last year, this year if you want to call it, which did help pay for our security door installation and upgrades. Originally, we had asked for $10,000. We were told in the middle of the process that we probably would get 8, and I think we did get at least
9.
10. We got 9? Okay, so we got a balance there. We'll be looking at additional application there. That one is due by the end of the week, so I have a little bit short notice to get some things done. But I have an idea of some fencing projects that we're looking at. So we had a presentation and tour during the State Development Corporation Leader event. This was held a couple weeks ago at Roots, and they brought in basically Development Corps leaders and other community leaders across the state. There were folks from as far as Lemon in the northwest, and Graybury and Burke and Tripp, some of those down in that area, out into the Black Hills area. It was really a neat event. I wasn't able to participate in the full event, but I did participate in the majority of the afternoon session the first day. And then Joel and I, as well as a team of teachers, provided 2 sessions here at the school, sort of at the end of the day for them. The teachers, I asked for a teacher panel of folks who have graduated from Webster, went to college, and most of them have worked elsewhere and then decided to come back. That's just a small representative group of people that live here in Webster and in Dade County area that have left and come back. I did some statistics, but I'm not going to remember. I'll look at Joel and see if he can remember. Out of our last 20 years, I looked at the graduating classes, and I had some folks help me that it's not scientific information, but we looked at yearbooks and the number of students that came back to Webster or basically went to college and returned right away. And the lowest percentage of any grade since 2000 was 14% of those students came back. The highest percentage was 44%, and that was like 2012 or 13. I think that says an awful lot about what this area has to offer and the value of living here. And those are just statistics for what we see in a yearbook and what we know for graduates. At any rate, we gave the folks a tour after we talked with those teachers, and then Joel talked about Bill Dakota. Webster scale alone, I was looking at Bill Dakota, and I was only looking at the Bill Dakota that we were aware of for Webster students, and then he shared information that even I wasn't aware of, knowing him as well as I do and working with him as much as we do. Webster Scale obviously is using that program to recruit folks for their company. You said 14?
Correct.
That you've tried, and very, very successful rates with those. Our school alone, I think we've had about 7 or 8 within the last 5 years. And so you're kind of eclipsing that number when you really look at it. But that's a business within our community. So interesting information that was shared. The folks that were here were in awe, not of just our CTE facility, but also in what we're investing in our special needs area for the center base and for the special ed program, as well as what we've done with our office suite. So they really, really enjoyed the tour and enjoyed the time that they had with us here.
I just want to piggyback on a little bit if I can. I mean, for me, that was a really cool experience, kind of getting to come in as a business person, you know, and on the school board too, but just seeing all the communities that he just referenced. Another big one was Wagner. I mean, these communities from all over the state, I mean, their jaw was just on the table. They couldn't believe what this school district has done in the last 10, 15 years. And so that goes out to the board and the administration and the previous boards. I mean, we've just been really progressive. And so for me to sit there and watch them react to the information that you provided, I mean, their jaws were on the table. How do we do that? How? That's just what they kept saying is how? How did you get there? How did you do that? So it was just good for me to see that.
We also have an opportunity, I'm putting some things together, and I've asked Joel if he would be a participant with this. There is a principals, secondary principals convention in it's either the first or second week in June. I personally have not attended the State Principals Association meeting for several years. As the majority of my job, I do the superintendency part of things. But I've been thinking about the opportunity that we have as a school district to share what we've done here, not simply for bragging rights, but as a school that others can learn from. And I think what we did with that development corporation group, we're going to try to do something similar for the State Principals Association. So we're working on that. I'm going to try to get that organized so that we can actually present at a state level meeting. Professional development, recently we just had in-service on Friday. We did talk about school safety, and then we allowed some time for our social studies, the elementary and our social studies staff to look into some of the things that they're going to be facing with the new social studies standards. Mostly what they were probably discussing is what kind of curriculum we're going to be looking at, because we do have a curriculum review in that particular subject area. And then we also talked about the literacy framework. I haven't followed or seen the legislation on that, but my understanding was that the state was probably going to put some dollars aside for professional development for that area. So I have to go back and look at that. But it's something that if there is funding, I wanted our staff to know about it, so that if there's some things they would like to do this summer and get compensated for, we certainly want them participating in that for those efforts. Legislative review, I'll do that as the last thing. Fire inspection report, I'm working on a corrective action plan right now. The fire inspector was here about 2 weeks ago. It was last Friday in January. I'll be honest, I have 90 days to put together a corrective action plan, and I've got the chart put together. And the first thing that I do is I hand out the information to the custodial staff at each level and ask them the things that you can take care of as custodial staff, please do so. Sometimes there's some maintenance things that we have to do, replacing tiles or putting tiles in if we're missing them, installing a fire extinguisher onto the wall versus sitting on the floor, those types of things. And then our staff, we share that with them. I'm going to work on that, get something put together here shortly. It's not as in-depth as it has been. I shared it with Patty Munson and Jack from JDH, because there are some items on the list that are associated with our building project. And Patty's response was, man, that's really an extensive report, and my take on it is it's really not as bad this year as it has been when it comes to finding some faults and some things that come up on a regular basis. So it's a gentleman that's been coming to our school as an inspector for quite some time, and I think we've been addressing more and more of those things, so we have fewer violations. So I'm pleased with what we have to take care of. There's a few items that we need to address. One of the items that we're going to have to deal with is the ceiling in the new boiler room. The seams in the side, it's sheetrock on the top, but they're not caulked in the corners, and so we have to address some sort of a seal in those corners, because it has to be a fire-rated room now. And so that's not anything that would have been in the project, because it was an office before.
Existing, okay.
So we're going to address that as best we can. Shouldn't be real extensive in cost, but I will say that portion will be. But I will say that I think Patty's going to put together a a proposal to maybe put some sprinkler heads in there and get that part sprinklered, only because all of the water supply for our sprinkling system, which feeds all the way down to our new CTE wing, that's all sprinkled. And so we don't have to have the special door stops and the door closers and all those things because it's a sprinkled facility. If we can tie into the water supply right in that room and put 2 heads in there, and that takes care of a lot of our fire rating issues, it might be cost efficient to do that. And so when I get that information, I'll share that with you. Planned services agreement. I'll be honest, I know Craig has received an email, I've received an email from Jay from Johnson Controls. We haven't really sat down and met with them. If you recall, we put together a planned service agreement a year ago about this time. I want to say it was about a $14,000 agreement, Lori, does that sound right? And that's so that Johnson Controls can probably take care of the filter replacements in the areas that our custodians probably can't do or it isn't efficient for them to do. Some of the general maintenance on the compressors and different things with the boilers. We'll be having that discussion and bring forth another plan, and we'll discuss it here and decide if it's something we want to continue to do or if it's maybe more efficient for us to look elsewhere or do something different. Previously, we had not had a maintenance agreement in place for many, many years. And so we've had these opportunities come up, but have chosen not to do it until this last year. Open house. I just briefly mentioned that a few minutes ago. I had some possible dates at April 8th, April 9th. If I recall correctly, we discussed this last month and in the month before. We probably want to look at doing something when it's a little bit nicer out, maybe doing something where there's perhaps some food involved with it that evening. We don't have to do it that way, but I wanted to just see if there were some dates that we could start looking at and then kind of develop a little bit of a plan as to what we want to do other than just simply walking through the building. Figure out what we want to do for, a ribbon cutting, brief presentations, those types of things. So I guess I would open up to discussion briefly now.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get it done. Every person that walks through here says, wow.
Yeah.
And I think we had kind of a little trial run the other night when we had those 30, 40 people in here, and I thought it worked well, giving a presentation, doing a walkthrough,
And there are a lot of people that are asking, well, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? I haven't been invited up there yet. When are you going to do it? And so I know there's a lot of folks that are itching to come in and visit.
Let's do April 11th.
Well, that is the day that we have that Millbank track meet.
Can we
How late will that go, Nathan?
I don't know how many teams are involved in that one.
Yeah.
They're usually back halfway early. I mean, when were you thinking?
This would be an evening thing.
Supper.
We'd probably do a 5, 6 o'clock type thing, right? Or not, or unless you want to do something right after
Yeah.
school is out, or
No, it's gotta be after work
evening
hours.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger one.
What do you got, April 25th?
Nathan, do you have your calendar for the 25th?
Yeah, I can get it.
I have nothing on the 25th. We have Webster track the day after on mine, and I have most of what Nathan has, but he can grab his real quick. Large music group contest the day before.
Let's do the 25th.
It's Thursday.
Thursday, the
It is
25th?
a Thursday.
Everybody good with the 25th? Let's do it, Jim, unless there's something that doesn't work with that.
Okay. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was the legislative session. Of course, probably the biggest one to discuss is, I think Larry said that it was defeated. Well, it wasn't technically defeated completely. Oh gosh, what did I do with it? It is House Bill 1048, and it's now 1048E, as I understand it. Basically, they hog-housed it, brought it back out, made some amendments to it. That was originally to say that by, Lori, what year was it, 2020?
17? Are you talking about teacher accountability?
Yeah, the teacher, what was the year that was gonna be required?
Oh,
2025? That
yes.
we would have to have, basically, by 2025, all school districts in South Dakota would have to have a base salary of $48,000. That was the initial. That has now been knocked down to $45,000. And so, this is where Joel was kind of talking about, several years ago, it's a local responsibility, and now we apparently haven't done what we're supposed to as school districts, and so the governor's getting involved and trying to, I'm not saying she's the only one, but there's a group of legislators that believe that it's probably necessary to come up with a base salary for the entire state of South Dakota. That's the biggest discussion.
In
right
that,
now.
though, each year it goes up by the percentage the legislature sets
Yes.
at a minimum. So if the legislature says 4.8, that base goes each year.
One of the benefits of that is we never have to do negotiations ever again.
It's just on
I'm
base. though.
joking when I say that,
Yeah.
but, I mean, in all honesty, why negotiate? Because the state says this is what you're gonna get, and that's what you're gonna get. And unless you have a plethora of money, which I don't know many schools that have a lot of money sitting around to
But
give.
that's taking local control away, though.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's 100% doing that.
Not only is it taking the local control away, how are they funding it?
Correct. They aren't.
That's what we don't know.
They aren't. They're just telling you how much.
Right,
So they're taking our money and telling us how to spend it.
right,
The districts.
exactly. They'll come back with we'll open you up another 5% on your capital outlay.
And as Lori stated, they've had some discussion at business managers meetings. One thing one of the unintended outcomes that could come from this is that, okay, we meet the requirements for salary, but then that could negatively affect your ability to take care of benefits if the budget
Right.
doesn't allow.
Well, the bottom line is this, look, never have we sat in negotiations and said, hey, let's pay teachers less. It doesn't happen. We want to pay, every year we come up here, we work hard to try to find as much money as we can within our budget to pay as aggressively as we can. You only get one shot at a free education for all these 500 kids that are coming through here every single day. We got to hire the best staff. We're working hard on it. By the year 2025, we'll be well past that. I mean, realistically, folks, we're on a path to go way past that. They need to start figuring out a way to get us more funds so that we can pay the staff, we can pay the new busing bill, we can pay the insurance. Everything else that's going up, these little things are just feel-good measures. They're not going to make it, they could pass that law, it wouldn't affect us. We're
So-
going to be past it.
As long as you're able to meet that.
But
we
here's what's
will
gonna
be
happen.
Reality.
Well, when you look into the future, 10 years or whatever.
Here's what's gonna happen, Larry. I don't know our numbers right now, I don't have them in front of me, but we're close to the 45.
Right now.
Okay.
We're over it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Lori, we're over it. So it's a non-issue. But it's
Non-issue.
gonna be a couple of these school districts, and I'm not gonna name them, that I've got paperwork here for, that aren't making it. So now, the low liars are gonna take the low-lying base salary school districts are gonna take more money out of the pot, which leaves us less. So our state funding will go down to pay for something that we're already doing. Is that right, Tom?
Yep. We are. That's the point. If you're going to want a good math, English, you name the teacher, they're graduating from college, and unless they've got a strong connection to that community, they're going to look at where the money is. We've got to compete. It's business 101. The legislature, all of those numbers, again, put it at a minimum amount. It'll sound good. Everybody up there can make a big deal about it. We're already past it. It doesn't make a difference here in Webster. Help us with something that actually allows us to pay our bills, to put more money back in the teachers' pockets instead of these nonsense bills. That's just really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It is nonsense. It's just not even worth us wasting our time on. It's nonsense. It won't affect us because we're past it. It's ridiculous.
So, just a couple other bills. I don't know where House Bill 1238 is. These are information that was provided as of Friday, and that is to reimburse school districts for costs incurred for providing reduced price meals to students. I'm not sure where that's gone in South Dakota. I will say that I did read via news information today that I believe it's Nebraska. Their governor originally had said, no, we're not going to do that. He doesn't believe in welfare. And then some things have changed that he is now supporting that type of legislation in Nebraska. Again, I'm not sure where we are at in South Dakota on that. The only other things that were mentioned from Rob Munson, who is the executive director for school administrators of South Dakota, he gives us information usually twice per week. And again, this was from Thursday. Timing of school board elections, tie that to be voted again on a Tuesday. Changing special ed appeal times. I suppose if there's some sort of an issue with special ed complaints, or I'm not sure if that's dealing with, yeah, I think it's dealing with complaints. Yeah, nothing really too significant otherwise. So unless there's a bill that you guys have kept track of or is kind of you're passionate about, I'm not sure if there's anything else to really discuss right now. If not, if you don't have any questions for me, then Mr. Case is the next one.
Thanks, Dr. Block. Mr. Case?
I will give you an update on the playground committee. We've met a couple more times. We have met with a couple more companies. Right now, the playground committee is asking a few more questions, clarifying questions of some of these companies. We're waiting for a sample of turf to get to us from a different company. So that would be the third turf company. So we're hoping to meet next week, go over those questions that we wanted to send out to those companies, and then kind of make a decision as to how we're going to go forward. And then we should be able to come to the next board meeting in March and know what direction we want to go, what we want to have on the playground, what it's going to look like, and give you some numbers at that time. So that's where we're at with that.
You know, Mr. Case, how long have you guys been working on that now? I mean, you guys
Well,
came
I think
in.
we started back in December, didn't we?
Okay.
Or-
Was it even before that, November, December?
We started talking about it in November and December, so yes, trying to get all the committee members together, and of course the teachers that are on the group are working. But yeah, we put some time into it, and I think some of these companies are looking at, and a couple of them have said it's like, boy, you guys have some good questions, putting in a lot of time, and said we're doing pretty good work, so.
Because you've gone out and looked at other schools of what they've done also and are trying to find their best ideas and bring them back to.
Got some input from superintendent down in Dakota Valley. I went up to Langford, looked at Britain. Got some feedback from some other towns. So yeah, we're trying to do what's best for the kiddos and the community here in Webster with that. Along with the playground, I've had a couple of parents say, well, with the new addition and everything, that's eaten up a lot of the playground. My kids don't have any place to play football. And I said, well, we still have a lot of room on that playground. I said, you're true about they don't have a place to play football because of the construction area and the weather being so nice, the snow melting. That area just south down here, we can't go on it because it's just so muddy. Otherwise, there is plenty of room for those kiddos to play football down there. And when it was cold, of course, we had to stay inside. It was too cold.
Right.
And then when they did go out there, there was some snow out there, so they could play out there for a while. But you guys know that we didn't have a lot of snow, so it melted. And yes, they were unable to utilize that south area for football right now. So in the future, after the construction, we plant grass there. Or I'm going to ask one of these companies too to give us a quote on turf, what we can put in there for turf, and make a little football field. Because when we went up to to Langford. They had a little football field, a turf football field, and I thought that was darn cool to have up there, and that'd be cool to have there. Of course, it's gonna cost money, but we'll see if we can do it. We'll try to do it. Driver's ed, I got registration forms out for that. Driver's ed will occur June 3rd through the 6th. So if there's any parents out there wanting questions, make sure they can contact me, but we have quite a few signing up for that already. Mr. Bloom will be helping drive this year. He's driver's ed certified. Mr. Nygaard plans to teach the class again, so it'll be myself and Nathan Bloom driving this year.
God bless both of you. And
Nathan doesn't know what he's getting into.
what I hear.
And we set a preschool, pre-kindergarten, and kindergarten registration date. That's Monday, March 4th from 5 to 6. So we will get information out to parents and students for that to sign up. So hopefully by the next meeting, I can inform you how many we'll have for kindergarten, pre-K, and preschool. That's if we get all those registrations in. So that open house is March 4th, but also we set that as our deadline for parents to get their information in so that we can come to the March meeting with those numbers so we can kind of decide how we want to move forward with that. Last week for grades kindergarten through 3, we kicked off, Julie Borhave came in and kicked off the Kids Hearts Challenge. So that has started. But also we had some happy news to present at that meeting. We got to announce the Teacher of the Year, the Webster Teacher of the Year. And congratulations goes out to 2nd grade teacher Pat Sherson for getting that award. She has taught here many years. I've been in her classroom, watched her teach, and she's a go-getter. She's doing circles around those kids, organized, guided reading, and she does a wonderful job. So congratulations to Pat Sherson. And support staff person of the year went to an elementary person also. And this person has worked here many years in the special ed department. Congratulations goes out to Jackie Anderson in the elementary special ed room. She's worked here also many years, just a little less than me, but Jackie's one of those that if I need a spot to fill or help out here or there, she's always willing to help. And in fact, with our new special ed teacher this year, Jackie Anderson, has done an awesome job helping Amanda Stalkin out, fit into the roles and what's going on. So Jackie Anderson has done an awesome job. So congratulations to those two. I think I got everything. Any questions?
Well, congratulations to both of those folks. That's awesome. Just hearing their stories and what they're doing, and
Yeah, two wonderful people and well deserving of that award.
Agree.
that's awesome.
Congratulations. All right, thank you, Mr. Case. NESC.
We actually hosted our board meeting the same evening last month, and so Martin and I were not able to participate. And unfortunately, I was not able to attend the superintendent's NESC last week, so I really am not up to par with what's going on that particular topic.
I read through the notes and there wasn't anything, it was relatively routine.
Okay. Buildings and grounds.
We've already had some discussion about things that are going on with the building project. Jack was here either Wednesday or Thursday of last week, going through the final punch list that he had, and then Patty was here on Friday. There's really not a tremendous amount of things on the list, but there still are some things that need to be taken care of, and so I'm not sure when they will have that scheduled. Hopefully they'll get somebody from JDH that will come in and do the majority of the work. Miscellaneous things, sealing the pipes in the new boilers room. I told you about the corners. That's not part of the project because they weren't sealed to begin with. But anywhere where they cut a hole for the project, those have to be sealed. Some of them are done, some are not. We're not sure why part of them were completely, others weren't. But they either put in some sort of a caulk or a cement filler on those blocks to make sure that the barrier is in place for the fire rating. In another example, we've got one room down on the south end that's got a sprinkler in it. For whatever reason, there's no ceiling tile where that sprinkler is. So it's little things like that. The stairs have been redone in both of the shops that have those stairs. I believe they were prior to our last month's meeting, but if you get an opportunity to walk up and down the steps, you'll see that they're better than what they were, because the first pouring of concrete that they had in them just made you feel like you were tilting, falling forward as you were coming down. There was just something quirky about them, but those have been redone. So, just some minor things with some caulking here and there, some touch-up paint here and there. The window seal for the window that separates the new culinary kitchen with the hallway. It's just an unfinished product there, and I showed both Jack and Patty that, like, yeah, we didn't address that, or not sure why that didn't come out finished, so they'll be addressing that. I don't know, do you have any questions, or?
I think this has been addressed. I'm not gonna like the answer, but what about the freezer or fridge in the fax room? When we were having our meeting the other night, that thing started rattling.
So they addressed it once already, but obviously it's not fixed. There's something on the top, that's where the compressor and things are for that to operate properly. But there's something loose that's vibrating, and
When the motor turns on, it just rattles like heck, and Jim was trying to give a little presentation and that thing kicked on. He had to jump his decibel up about 10 points.
And as far as we know, the refrigerator is functioning properly. It's just there's something loose on the top of it that needs to be addressed. So
Did they address the hoods?
I have not heard anything final as to what options exist. For me personally, I think it would be maybe not the best thing to do to take them out and replace them. There are some dents in those hoods, so I don't know if there's possibly some compensation we might get back as kind of a discount because there's a few dents. It doesn't affect the functionality of them, but it certainly
they're new.
affects the appearance of a brand new facility. So I would expect that we get something from that. So.
Okay. Anything else on buildings and grounds?
Yes, I have something. So when we redid the athletic complex and put in the new track, at that time we knew that in a time frame of 7 to 9 or 7 to 10 years, we had to do it's like a top coating project. And so we are now at the end of that time frame. And I can just tell you, it says that they will clean and prepare the surface, patch any loose and thin areas, locate and repair any and all cracks, spray application of a primer coat, spray applied structural wearing coats, and repaint paint lines. And we got this estimate last year, and it's approximately $90,000. And so I just need to bring this up now because number one, I'm starting to work on budgets. I need to know if I should include it in the capital outlay budget. And number two, if we are going to do it, we need to contact the company so we can get on their schedule so we're not pushed out. And when Dr. Black and I were visiting this afternoon, when we did that project, to our recollection, we purchased, or we agreed to, a tier of the system that was a little less, knowing that this was going to be happening. We didn't go with the top tier at that time. So this is not a surprise, it's something we knew was coming.
We've had it on our radar, and Nathan's first year last year as the AD, I did give him that information, and he contacted the company that did install the track itself, and they've provided that quote. But that was, again, a year ago at that time, because we weren't sure if we were going to do it last year or if we were going to do it in future years. So.
Is it expected to be about every 10 years? Is that like the shelf life on them, or is?
I do not know that. Do you know that?
I think this one's a little more permanent than that. I think the reason they have to do it is just a sort of, I don't know if the first coat had a cure or or whatever over time, but now, this one, my understanding is gonna last a little bit longer than, but you have to do it. You don't wanna not do it, or you're gonna ruin your track, and you gotta start,
Yeah.
start from scratch again. And as far as some of the marks are concerned too, some of the rules that, for track have changed over the years also. And our track isn't marked for some minor things. There are some days if it's really windy, your sprints can go the other direction, which could help with times and things like that. We don't have those marks out there because that wasn't, whatever it was, 9 or 10 years ago, that wasn't an option. So it's time for some of those other things anyway.
I think we just go ahead. I mean, that's what we signed up for 10 years ago. And let's start budgeting it, get on the calendar. And it's hard to believe that it's been 10 years already, to be honest with you.
I was just gonna say that.
So
Yeah, we just spent a lot of money on that facility, so I think we need to.
Have to
keep it up.
maintain it.
Yep. Okay, anything else, buildings and grounds? All right. Motion to move into executive session for personnel, catastrophic leave request. Just so you know, Amanda, we may take action when we come out of executive session on this if you want to stick around. What we'll do is we'll just step out here real quick, and then after that, we'll probably go back into executive session a few times. So let's go ahead.
Hey, I gotta follow up one number from my comments earlier. Can I do one
Yep.
more? The number I didn't talk about, and I just want to bring it up, our ACT score in 2015 was a 21.2. This year, it's a 25.2. So our test scores have gone up. I think that just says huge things for what's going on in the building. And for what it's worth, it's at least 3 points higher than any of these. We're doing a good job.
We still have that program that we purchased for that.
Yeah.
College.
That's an ongoing
Yep.
renewal.
Yep.
Yep.
Worth the money, and staff is doing an awesome job.
Okay, do I have a motion to move into executive session for personnel?
So moved.
Thanks, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we'll be right back. Can I have a motion to approve the catastrophic leave request? Thank you, Aaron. Second? Thank you, Marty. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right,